Hi, this is Andrew Collins. This is for my online class. I have with me my mom, Carol Collins, and I'm basically just going to ask you some questions and have a conversation.
Okay.
So, where were you born?
I was born in Highland Park, Illinois.
And how long did you live in Highland Park, Illinois?
About 6 months.
6 months?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And where did you go after that?
Then my family moved to Davenport, Iowa.
Oh, okay. That's where I originally thought you were from. I didn't realize you went. Where was it? Where were you born again?
Highland Park, Illinois.
Highland Park, Illinois. Okay.
Yeah.
And how long were you in Davenport, Iowa?
Okay, well, we were there probably maybe a year and a half. My parents lived with my mother's sister and her children in the same house. We shared a house. And then after that, we moved to Marshalltown, Iowa.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then how long were you there?
Okay, so we moved there when I was about age 2.5, and we lived there till I was 7.5, 8, I think, around.
Okay. And then
I
you
think
went
8
from
years.
there to.
To Council Bluffs, Iowa,
All right.
and we lived there for about 2.5 years. So I was in second grade, third grade, and part of fourth grade there. And then from there, we moved to Phoenix, Arizona when I was 10.
What made you guys move to Arizona?
My sister, Gwen, developed asthma, and so my dad found a job in Phoenix. It was recommended that it was a drier climate and that it would be helpful for her asthma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was it a new job or was it with the same company?
I believe it was with the same company.
Which is the.
Securities Acceptance is what it was called. It was a loan company.
Oh, okay.
So he was a loan officer.
And that was before the Cochinadal Bank, then?
Before what?
The bank that he worked for.
He didn't work for a bank until we arrived, until we were here. We were here probably a year and a half, and then he was without a job. The company, I don't know what happened to the company, but
Right.
he lost his job. And then that's when he started working for the Arizona Bank. And it was
Gotcha.
1960.
Gotcha.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And once you were here, where did you go to college at?
College, I went to Glendale Community College for 2.5 years. And then I went to a small Presbyterian college in Sterling, Kansas for about a year and a half. My parents still lived here. I just flew back and forth.
Right.
And so then I had already met your father, and we were engaged, and so I left Sterling and came back and applied at ASU.
So you met him while you were still going to college?
When I was at Glendale Community College, I met him at church. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you say you met him at church, were you going to a different church than your mom and dad? Or?
Yes. Yes. I was going to church with my mom and dad, but then I was invited to go to church with my friend Janelle, and so that's where he went to church, and so I went and visited his church. Sorry. And then I liked it. He liked me, and I liked him. So we started dating, and he would come and get me every Sunday to go to his church,
And what church was that?
Black Canyon Church of Christ.
Okay.
And so I just started going regularly with him.
And how long did you date Dad before you were engaged?
Okay, we dated 2 years before we were engaged, and then we were engaged for 1 year,
Okay.
and then we got married.
With your college, what degrees do you have?
I just have a bachelor's of in elementary education,
Elementary education?
early elementary education.
Okay. All right. And have you always wanted to be a teacher?
No, when I was living in Iowa as a 5, 6, 7 year old, I wanted to be a nurse.
All right.
But then when I came to Phoenix, I had medical issues and had to go to the hospital when I was 11. And I decided I didn't want to be a nurse after I found out blood was involved and needles
Right.
and so forth. So then I thought I wanted to be an artist. I liked art and drawing. And that changed. I wanted to do that till I was about a junior in high school. And then after I took child development, I decided, no, wait a minute, I want to be a teacher. I like working with children.
Awesome.
So,
And what has been your favorite grade to teach?
well, I've only taught full-time kindergarten and first grade. First grade for only 1 year. And my favorite grade is kindergarten.
Okay.
But now as a retired teacher, I substitute, and I do enjoy second grade particularly because they can do so much more and be some more independent, and it's more. Sometimes it's just more fun when the kids are able to, perform and do more on their own.
Follow direction
Yeah,
and have
yes.
more personality and that kind of thing.
Right.
Awesome. Since you are a teacher, who was the greatest teacher in your life?
Well, it's a Jim Dandy of a name, Miss Breckenbaumer.
All right. And what grade did she
Third
teach?
grade.
Third grade?
And third grade, and it was in Council Bluffs. And she was very into the pioneer days, and she read the whole series of Laura Ingalls Wilder's Little House on the Prairie books to us. But she not only read the books to us, she brought in a coffee grinder, a butter churn, things that you would have used back in those days.
Oh, so she gave you real world examples.
Yes.
That's
that was
awesome.
one of my favorite teachers.
Instead of just, reading about it, she actually
She
let
brought
you.
visual aids of what things looked like.
I think that for me, that's why I liked Mr. Caldwell, my third grade teacher, as well, is because of all the model airplanes that he had dangling from the ceiling in his classroom. I think that
Yeah,
was a big thing
he
for
was
me.
a good teacher.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Art,
And your least favorite subject in school?
math.
Math. All right. Let's see here. As an adult, have you lived anywhere else outside of Arizona?
No, not lived. I've vacationed, but not lived anywhere. But
Right. Where have you lived with Dad?
Okay. Well, we've lived in three different locations. When we first got married, we lived right by the church in a small house. It used to be the minister's house, but he was renting it. And it was a one-room, basically, house with a walk-in closet and a bathroom that was separate. So we lived there for the first year, and then we bought a home and had it built, and we lived in that for 10 years. And then from there, we moved to this house, and I've lived here 34 years, 35
Okay.
years.
So the house at Black Canyon Church of Christ, the little studio.
Yeah, it was a studio house.
And then the second house, you guys actually had it built? You guys
Yes, we bought it, and we had it built. We got to pick out the paint colors, the cabinet,
Oh, wow.
the countertops, the tile, the carpeting, the whole 9 yards, yeah.
So you say you lived there for 10 years,
Yeah.
and from what I remember, we moved from there when I was probably like 5 or 6.
I think you were 5.
So you guys lived there for a good 3-4 years or so before I was
Before
born.
you came along, yes.
Right. And then was Tim, my younger brother, did that happen at that house, or was that something that we
No, he was born when we lived in that other house.
Okay, so he was born
Uh-huh.
when you
When
at that
we moved
house.
here, he was 18 months,
18 months.
and you were about 5 and a half, or just
Okay.
5.
And now this house was already
Oh, yes, this house was
Built.
already built. This house was built in 1959.
Okay.
And we moved here in 1983, December of 1983.
What made you guys decide to select this place?
Your father wanted to be closer to his workplace and to our church. So that remedied both those.
Excellent, excellent. And what is your fondest memory of your mom?
Of my mom. Oh, goodness. I guess her teaching me how to cook in the kitchen and working together and making a meal together and learning how to do it. So she was, and then also she taught me how to sew as well. So that would be another one, working with me and helping me how to do that. That was both exciting. I was both really excited for both.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about your dad?
Oh, my dad just gave me such wonderful bear hugs. He'd lift me off the floor and then he ended up tickling me, and it was just a very special moment between my dad and I. And then he would take me places too, and he was a very involved dad.
Oh, that's awesome. Have you and your sister, Aunt Gwen, always been close and gotten along?
No, we have not always been close because there's a 7.5 year difference. When she was born, it took several years, but when she got old enough to talk and interact, that we started to have a relationship. And then during high school, and I was in college, she was in high school, I was in college, so we didn't, we did family functions together, but we weren't really super close. Actually, when she became a teacher and moved out on her own, then she and I became closer because we had that in common, and we had more to talk about and more to, share with each other. And now it's a very close bond. She and I enjoy doing things together, and we confide in one another, and she's my
Right.
closest confidant. So.
Yeah, no, that's good to have. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel is your biggest accomplishment in life?
Graduating college for number one, because it took me a little longer because I didn't have at the beginning, my grade point average was not ideal, and it took me a while to have friends that helped me and guided me, learning to study and how to accomplish remembering things for tests and so forth. That was always an issue for me, but when I finally was able to accomplish that and graduate, that was a big moment in my life that I got my diploma from ASU. And it took me 5.5 years, but I did it.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Absolutely. What is your biggest regret?
Not holding your brother back in first grade, because I think he would be more successful today if I had done that, if I had insisted, and the teacher did her best to talk me out of it, and the teacher swayed me to not do it. So I regret that, and I think he would be more successful if he had more time to mature. And
Right.
but it's water over the bridge, and can't take it back. So just,
Understandable.
yeah.
Yeah. And you actually held me a second year in kindergarten, or how did that work?
You had a second year. No, yeah, you had a second year of preschool
Okay.
before you went to kindergarten.
Okay.
Okay, so you went 2 years to preschool, so that, in other words, the year you started kindergarten, you were already 6. Thank you. You were already 6.
I've always been.
No, you were already 5, but you turned 6 that September.
Yeah, I've always been a little slightly older than most of
Yes,
my other classmates.
yes. So you were an older 5-year-old, and you turned 6 like 2 weeks after school started.
Right.
So then so that's why you were older. And I also, my mother held me back in first grade myself, because I was younger. I started school when I was 4, and then turned 5 in October, and I was just too immature to handle it. So, but I'm glad I was able to do that, because the law stated that you had to be 5 by September, by August 30th. I can't remember. And so you weren't going to be, so that's why you spent a second year in preschool. And that remedied the situation and got
Yeah.
you ready for kindergarten.
Yeah, I'm always glad that I actually did have that, because I feel
Me
that
too.
it helped me
Yeah,
immensely overall.
yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
for sure. Um, is there something you haven't done in your life that you wish you could do?
Repeat the question
Is
again?
there something that you haven't done that you wish you could do? Like if you could do something.
Yes, I have something in mind.
All right.
I really would have liked to work in Yellowstone again as an adult, as a retired adult, and have that same experience again, like I did when I was 19. And I envy the men and women that are able to do it. Um, I have health issues that prevent me from doing it. I have to get monthly eye injections, and they don't have that available at Yellowstone Park. So that's what's preventing me from doing that. But traveling there on vacation definitely helps, and just wish I could have done that.
So if you could, that would be something that you would want to do, even for what, a summer or something like
Yeah,
that.
like it's just for the summer.
Just for the summer.
Yeah, like work in a gift shop or be a cook again, or something.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, the employees definitely have a lot of fun. Yes, they do.
um, is there somewhere you would like to travel that you haven't traveled to?
Probably Alaska.
Alaska.
Mm-hmm. Just to see the iceberg, not iceberg, the glaciers, and the whales, and all that Alaska has to offer.
Yeah, I know. I want to do that as well. Have you ever been on a cruise?
Yes, I went on one cruise with your father to Ensenada, Mexico,
Okay.
and I found out a cruise really isn't my cup of tea,
Oh.
because I was totally seasick the whole time, just about the whole time.
That's about the whole
Yeah,
thing.
and it was just, I couldn't handle it. I'm glad I did it, but I don't desire to go on another one,
Gotcha.
because it was just, I'm a little claustrophobic too, and that was another issue. Just you're on the ship, and that you can't go anywhere else but the ship.
So if you did Alaska, it would not be on a cruise ship then.
Probably not. Yeah,
I've heard that they have um, less choppy waters, but I was on a cruise last year, and
Mhm.
while I didn't get sick, I was definitely a little bit nauseous for sure.
Mhm.
So I'm hesitant, but I've heard that going on the cruise to see Alaska gets you the chance to see
I know
a
it
lot
does.
that way.
Yes, you get to see more, and maybe it wouldn't. Maybe there'd be like a day trip out where you wouldn't have to spend the night. I don't know if they have that available.
You mean on
Like-
this cruise ship, or
Like fly to Juneau or wherever, Anchorage,
right?
and then take a tour. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be up to
Oh,
that.
so you're saying do that without a cruise?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay. What activities do you like to do currently?
Okay, well, I like to do gardening in the yard, and I like to read. I like to swim. I used to enjoy walking. When it cools down, maybe I can get back to walking again. I like to volunteer at the former school where I taught to help my friends with different tasks that they need help with, testing kids and or whatever, actually working one-on-one with a student. I enjoy substituting in the classroom every so often. So I like that. I like to travel. I enjoy traveling. I'm all out of, I don't,
No, that's
I
okay.
think that's it.
You mentioned that you like to read.
Yeah.
Have you read any books recently?
I've started a book. I can't remember what it's about now. I've only read the first chapter. But I really enjoy novels about Amish men and women and their lives. It just fascinates me, the way they live. And then, I enjoy novels, children's literature as well, to do with, I like Dr. Seuss books and, different books like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
If you could provide me with the most profound piece of knowledge that you would like to share with me that you've learned through your life so far, what would that be?
Well, that would be, don't hold a grudge, forgive those others, and just don't take everything to heart, and just try to go with the flow, and the best you can. But then at the same time, you should stick up for yourself as well if you're being put down on. Don't let people put you down, for sure. But I just think getting along with others and forgiveness is the most important thing you can do.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate your time.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining us, and have a great day.
Thank you. I hope the parking won't ruin it.